Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoScope, where we break down the market together, staying sharp, staying informed, and always thinking about the next big move. Today, we're putting on our thinking caps and talking about something that's been generating a lot of buzz: altcoin season. Yep, we're speculating, we're analyzing, and we're laying out a case for why we might be on the verge of a major altcoin rally. So what's the big picture? Why are so many traders and analysts whispering alt season? And why might this time be different? Let's dive in. Signs of capital rotation. Bitcoin dominance is dropping. One of the first and clearest signals that altcoins might be ready to run is the drop in Bitcoin dominance. Right now, data shows that BTC's market share of the total crypto market is falling. Analysts are pointing out that this decline is no accident. It's likely capital rotating out of Bitcoin and into altcoins. When Bitcoin dominance weakens, it often means investors are seeking higher risk, higher reward opportunities. And altcoins are exactly that. Instead of all money going to BTC, we could be seeing a serious flow into ETH, SOL, and other leading altcoins. Technically, some chart watchers see bearish patterns on the dominance chart, like a bear flag breakdown, which suggests the decline may continue. That's a classic signal that altcoins could outperform over the coming months. Liquidity is building up. Big time. Another major piece of the puzzle: liquidity is stacking up. According to recent reports, stablecoin reserves on major exchanges like Binance have surged. We're talking about billions parked and waiting. Why does that matter? Because stablecoins are often the capital source that gets deployed into altcoins when people decide it's time to chase opportunity. If you've got a lot of dry powder in USDT or USDC, and you see BTC consolidating, you might just push that into altcoins. Layer onto that a macro backdrop of loose liquidity. Money supply metrics like M2 are rising. More dollars in the system means more fuel for risk assets, and altcoins are historically some of the highest beta plays in crypto. Extra liquidity plus capital rotation equals recipe for altcoin strength. Technical patterns are hinting at altcoin strength. It's not just macro and flow. The charts are lining up too. Some analysts are pointing to bullish chart formations across altcoin market cap indices. For instance, there's talk of a large cup and handle pattern forming on the combined altcoin market cap chart, excluding BTC and ETH. That kind of formation can precede a very strong breakout. If that plays out, we could potentially see the altcoin market cap surge to new highs, or at least strong growth relative to Bitcoin. ETH is leading the charge. Ethereum is playing a major role in this potential alt season. Here's why. ETH-BTC ratio. Analysts are closely watching the ETH-BTC pair. If Ethereum begins to outperform Bitcoin on this ratio, that's a strong sign that capital is rotating into altcoins, not just into altcoin hype. Layer 2 demand. Ethereum's L2 networks, like Arbitrum, Optimism, Base, are seeing growing usage, and that drives demand for ETH. More DeFi, more transactions, more settlement, real utility backing. Speculative MEV activity. There's academic research showing that optimistic MEV, a form of on-chain arbitrage activity, is quite high on certain layer 2s. This means speculative activity is driving transaction volume, which supports Ethereum's long-term value. All of these factors give ETH a dual role, not just as a regular altcoin, but as infrastructure, both used and staked, driving real crypto economic activity. If ETH leads, a lot of other altcoins could follow. Institutional and retail appetite is shifting. We're not just talking small-time traders here. Institutional players are starting to lean into altcoins more meaningfully. As Bitcoin consolidates, more professional capital is looking at altcoins for diversified exposure. Plus, some stable narratives like institutional treasuries, DeFi, and Layer 2 scaling are breathing fresh life into altcoin projects. This isn't just retail hype. This could be structural money that rotates into quality alt projects. Liquidity tailwinds, macro support. Let's bring macro into focus again. The global money supply, central bank dynamics, and liquidity are all key. As traditional liquidity conditions remain relatively favorable, the excess money has to flow somewhere. Altcoins, being high beta, are natural beneficiaries when liquidity is abundant. If macro tailwinds remain, altcoins could outpace Bitcoin's returns as capital seeks more aggressive growth. Risks and counterpoints, because we're realistic. Okay, so we're bullish, but we're not ignoring the risks. Altcoin season is not guaranteed, and here's what could derail the thesis. If Bitcoin dominance stops falling or reverses, capital might stop rotating into alts. If stablecoin reserves don't deploy, i.e. capital doesn't shift into altcoins, that dry powder stays on the sidelines. A macro shock, interest rate surge, liquidity tightening, could kill risk-on flows. Some altcoins may not have the fundamentals to sustain a rally. This could be quality over quantity. We need to see real rotation, not just speculative hype. Our altcoin playbook, speculative strategy. Here's how we at Team CryptoScope are thinking about positioning, assuming alt season really takes off. Scale into core alts. We're looking at Ethereum, Solana, maybe a few strong layer 1 DeFi names. Use technicals plus on-chain metrics. Watch ETH, BTC, altcoin market cap patterns, cup and handle or similar, BTC dominance, stablecoin flow. Keep dry power. We don't want to go all in early. We'll keep a portion of capital in stablecoins or BTC ready to rotate further. Watch macro. Liquidity conditions, money supply, central bank signals matter. Be selective on alt picks. Not all alts will run. We focus on those with strong fundamentals, real usage, or real narrative. Why now might be different than previous alt seasons. This potential alts boom could differ from previous cycles for a few reasons. Stronger institutional structure. Unlike 2017, altcoins are no longer purely speculative. Institutions are building regulated exposure, not just moonshots. Layer 2 tech maturity. L2 scaling, Arbitrum, Optimism, Base is more advanced than ever, and that's real utility. Liquidity environment. With current global liquidity, high beta asset alts are more attractive than in tighter cycles. On-chain capital. Accumulation, stablecoin flow, and dominance rotation are lining up in a way that suggests real capital rotation, not just hype. All these factors suggest a more sustainable alt season, not just a meme coin pump. Wildcard scenarios and speculative bets. We also want to lay out some wildcard scenarios, the kinds of alts or sectors that could blow up if this alt season really kicks in. DeFi 2.0, next-gen L1s. If DeFi protocols on newer L1s or L2s gain traction, we could see massively asymmetrical returns. Zero knowledge. Projects focused on ZK tech or rollups could explode if scalability demand is real. AI plus blockchain. AI-native blockchains or altcoins bridging AI with crypto could see speculative capital. Eco, green chain alts. With sustainability becoming more important, altcoins that emphasize low-energy consensus or green tech might attract real long-term capital. Our call to action, Team CryptoScope. Now, if you're watching this, here's what we suggest doing as a team together. Take a core position in a few quality altcoins, but don't go all jackpot all at once. Use technical and on-chain metrics to guide entry and scaling, not just hype. Keep some capital ready to rotate in, because if alt season confirms, it could be fast and messy. Stay plugged into macro news. Altcoins are not trading in a vacuum right now. Do your own research. Altcoin risk is real. Not every project will make it, but the ones that do during a real alt season could deliver major returns. Final thoughts, why we think alt season is coming. To wrap it up, yes, we think there's a strong case for altcoin season right now. The capital rotation is real, the liquidity is building, and the technicals are lining up. Ethereum is doing the heavy lifting, layer 2s are gaining traction, and capital is flowing into stablecoins and ready to deploy. The macro backdrop supports risk assets, and Bitcoin dominance is weakening, at a time when altcoins could absorb a lot of this shift. If this rotates correctly, we might be in the early innings of a substantial altcoin rally, not just speculative, but structurally supported. We're staying ready, alert, and disciplined. That's how Team CryptoScope plays this, with conviction, but also with caution. If you're as excited and cautious as we are, hit subscribe, drop a comment with the alt you've got your eye on, and like the video if you want more deep analysis like this. Let us know, do you think this is the start of a true altcoin season, or just another rotation? Thanks for watching CryptoScope. Let's keep doing this together, and buckle up, because this could get interesting.